first thing to understand is that when we talk about negative energy in these terms, we are not talking about electrically charged energy. This is something totally different. Normal energy such as light curves and bends outwards, in waves, into space. Negative energy such as gravity or an atom's nucleus pulls and cycles inwardly, so we call it negative as opposed to normal, positive energy. And again, it's not about electrical charge. Dr. Greer points out that zero-point energy is something star races use quite frequently, not only when they travel through microcosmos, but also when they communicate with each other over distances, as it seems. So, it's not the use of it that's wrong, it's how we use it. I will make the allegory with the balloon once more. These are not easy concepts to grasp, and I'm sure the majority of the readers have forgotten this principle by the time they read this. So, imagine you are blowing up a balloon when it's full of air. Take a black marker pen and make dots on the other end of the balloon, relatively close to each other. Then, with a couple of fingers, squeeze the balloon in the middle and watch the dots. The distance between them will now increase. What does this mean? Well, pretend that the balloon is the universe filled with energy, the air in the balloon, and when you squeeze it is when you borrow energy from the universe, i.e. for space travel or experiments with negative energy in general. The dots on the balloon signify time speeding up, so when you borrow or steal energy from one part of the universe, you are going to speed time up in another part. The consequences of this will be that if we now pertain this to another solar system, the sun and the planets, and everything else in that solar system, will age much faster and speed towards its demise. That, to authorities on our own planet, may feel so abstract and far away that they don't care, and as if that isn't bad enough, misuse or overuse of negative energy, electrogravity, zero-point energy. It's all the same thing can also have catastrophic effects much closer to home. It may shorten the lifespan of our own sun. Electrogravity isn't free. If we overuse or misuse it, it speeds the flow of time. A reckless overuse would shorten the sun's lifespan considerably and therefore put our whole civilization in great danger. The use of negative energy needs to be globally monitored and regulated. According to Le Buono, aliens do this to avoid overuse, and if someone in their own society misuses it, they counterstream such energy into the offender's circuitry to deactivate it, if necessary. We must do the same thing, he says. The concern aliens have with us humans starting to use negative energy, and we already have, is that they know our mentality, and they don't like what they see. They can see how we are beginning to use this kind of energy in the weapon industry, and that is a no-no. Many star races are very aggressive with making sure that this doesn't happen, and go out of their way to condemn use of negative energy for weapon purposes. Something they don't like the least is when immature races start messing with these kind of energies without taking any responsibility for it. In our case, it's mainly done under alien supervision. The Sirians are the instigators. But the weapon industries are not only run by aliens. The majority of people who are working there, same with other workplaces and facilities, are of course human, who either agree with the policies of the industry they're working in, or simply don't care about the consequences of these policies and just see it as a job. This can show to be very dangerous thinking, because it could have severe consequences if more advanced aliens interfere. No one is going to intentionally destroy the whole human race because of this, but other actions will be taken, which will have the weapons backfire. Also, severe efforts may be made so that humankind will not put their foot out in interstellar space. We will end up living in a quarantine within a quarantine within a quarantine. Yes, that's how dangerous many star races think we are in present time. We have a lot to learn as a species, and it will not come easy, ultimately, of course. Any interference with building a weapon industry in the fashion they wish will of course trigger the Sirians, who consider themselves the owners of this planet. If so, these weapons using negative energy may be used against interfering, but well-intended star races, and we may have a new space war going. There is so much at stake. The problem is that aliens have looked at probable futures from a multi-dimensional viewpoint, and they can see a probable future, with some energy built towards it, where mankind destroys itself because of misuse of energy. Electrogravity is not a negative thing per se, no pun intended, because its use, when done moderately, can have lots of benefits. Although it speeds things up in the environment, it also slows down things in the immediate proximity to where it's used. It could be of great use in the medical field, as it could freeze cancer, shorten the half-life of radioactive waste with the purpose to make them harmless, etc. The problem is that here on Earth, if something can be used for ill purposes, it's a guarantee it will. This is very sad, but quite true. It doesn't mean it's not going to be used for more benevolent purposes as well. But the military will grab everything which can be used to build advanced weapons and aircraft to increase their negative power. Due to our arrogance, we are also facing an additional problem in all this, which is that because of our warlike behavior, advanced star races refuse to teach us the secrets of electrogravity. When we look at it, it looks like a one-way street. How much negative energy can we use without severely affecting the lifespan of our solar system, and not to affect other solar systems, light years, or even galaxies away, the way universal energy works? The truth is that we don't know, and the more star races teach us, the more we will absorb the knowledge and use it in the weapon industry. But don't the Sirians know the limits? Oh, sure they do, but do they really care? Does it bother them if the sun is dying due to their misuse? Do they feel any bad conscience if star systems somewhere else suffer from what they are doing here and in other places? Well, we already are quite familiar with their mentality, so the answer is obvious. And unfortunately, humanity as a whole is not even aware of electrogravity, and while it is being more and more misused as time goes by, the rest of mankind is sitting in their couches with their legs on the table watching reality shows and football games, giving up their own energy in favor of the Sirians, who suck it up the more excited the person gets before the TV screen. Again, it's pretty sad.